Welcome to the conference following the EAM. Usually we start with a statement by the High Representative, followed by a statement by the First Minister Dr. Jaishankar, and then we'll open the floor for questions. High Representative, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and it's a great pleasure to be here. It's my first press conference in this room, so great to also welcome Mr. Jaishankar here, and it's really a pleasure to host you here in Brussels. The European Union and India are natural partners. Together we make up a quarter of the world's population and GDP. By working together we have great potential to make a global impact. Today we are holding the first ever EU-India strategic dialogue. This marks a significant step forward in our partnership and in addressing threats like cyber attacks and foreign interference. It also paves the way for much deeper defense cooperation, sharing expertise and exploring joint initiatives. First, on security. Europe and India face many of the same challenges. Terrorism, military buildups, and violations of international law affect both of us. Last week, India and European Union held a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean. This is more than symbolic. It shows our shared commitment to uphold international law at sea. I want to reiterate the EU's strong condemnation of the terrorist attack in Balgam, Jammu and Kashmir. Those responsible must be held accountable. India has the right to protect its citizens in accordance with the international law. Minister Jaishankar, you and I were in close contact after the attack. I regret the tragic loss of lives in India and Pakistan. The EU supports continued talks between India and Pakistan to reduce tensions, and no one stands to gain from renewed conflicts in the region. EU-India cooperation on counterterrorism is also growing stronger. We already work together on information sharing, capacity building, and joint efforts to combat terrorism financing. And today, we also agreed to hold our next counter-terrorism dialogue in autumn. The EU is working together with India and together more on space. We already have access to each other's data from Earth observation satellites. And at our meeting, we agreed to establish a new formal dialogue on space. This will cover areas such as satellite navigation and security. And the first session is to take place also autumn this year. Looking ahead, there is a strong case for EU-India security and defense partnership. We already have such partnerships with 7 other countries, and today we renewed our intention to work towards this goal, because peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific are closely intertwined with peace and security in Europe. Beyond defense, we cooperate in many other areas, from digital connectivity to research and innovation, to green energy and trade. We are committed to progress towards an ambitious free trade agreement this year. And this was agreed by President von der Leyen and Prime Minister Modi in February. And finally, Minister Jaishankar and I also reaffirmed our shared commitment to multilateralism and stable, rules-based international order. In today's contested global landscape, it is more than ever important to build strong and trusted partnerships. The European Union is a reliable, predictable, and credible partner for India. With the visit of the European Union College to Delhi in February and next year's EU-India Summit, we want to further deepen our partnership at all levels. So, dear Minister, thank you again for being here and looking forward to our further discussions later today. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me say that it's a great pleasure to be back in Brussels and join High Representative and Vice President Kaja Kallas for the first strategic dialogue between India and the European Union. I believe we've had a very open and productive meeting today. It is still continuing. We'll go back to our discussions after this. And we had touched on defense and security, on maritime security, on cyber, on space, as you heard from the High Representative. My meeting was preceded by a call on President von der Leyen this morning. I will also be meeting with Commissioners Šefčovič, Sikela, and Kubilius during my stay, and I hope to interact with President Metsola and members of the European Parliament also during this visit. Now, my visit to Brussels is taking place 3 months after that of the EU College of Commissioners to India. Even in that time, it is apparent that the world order was in the midst of a profound change. These trends have intensified in many ways. We have, without doubt, entered an era of multipolarity and strategic autonomy. As two important poles of that emerging reality, there is a powerful case for India and European Union to forge deeper ties. Working towards that goal requires intensified cooperation in many domains, which is the reason why we are meeting. At its core is a strong political and strategic rapport that is built on both our countries being both our entities, European Union and India, being political democracies, market economies, and pluralistic societies. Naturally, how we look at the world and its challenges are shaped by history, geography, development levels, and experience. There will be situations when our perspectives may not be entirely identical. That is understandable. But what is important is that we expand common ground and understanding and enhance levels of trust. So the High Representative and I exchange views on the global order. We will be discussing in the coming session the situation, of course, in Europe. We will have, a deeper exchange on the Ukraine conflict. We'll be talking about West Asia, as we call it, Middle East for you, the Indian subcontinent, and the Indo-Pacific, amongst others. I'm confident that this will be useful and productive. And as I said, we have spent the morning discussing defense and security cooperation, various dimensions of it. Let me add that stabilizing and de-risking the international economy is today a strategic priority for us. This has many dimensions, including building more resilient and reliable supply chains, as well as increasing trust and transparency in digital interactions. Creating stronger economic and technology partnerships between major players, we believe, has acquired even greater value. It is with that perspective that we support the goal of concluding an ambitious and balanced India-EU FTA by the end of the year. We also see great benefit in holding an early meeting of the Trade and Technology Council. Allow me finally to make a few points about combating terrorism. We strongly believe that there must be zero tolerance for terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. In that context, it is also essential that we never yield to nuclear blackmail. This is a shared and interconnected challenge for the global community, and it is imperative that there is strong international cooperation and understanding on the matter. So finally, let me conclude by thanking High Representative Kallas for her welcome, for her hospitality today, and I look forward to continuing our dialogue.
Questions, please specify to the media in your broadcast and
Thank you very much. I have two questions. The first for you both, did you discuss any diverging approaches to Russia, and did you come to conclusions on the matter? And the second is for the High Representative specifically, are there any details you could share about the proposal for the 18th sanctions package? And will it be a binding package as was discussed a bit earlier? Thank you.
Thank you. We will discuss the security situation further when it comes to the security situation in Europe, as well as also in the Pacific. So we will have those discussions later on. When it comes to the details of the 18th package, we have a separate press conference today where we will reveal the details, and we can talk about that then.
I think the High Representative answered that question, which is we, in our talks, haven't come to the issue of the Ukraine conflict and Russia as yet. But I'm looking forward to that discussion, because I think we obviously have our particular interests and our particular perspectives, which we both bring today.
Thank you. Any
Turkish News Agency, Selam Valente. Two questions, if I may. First, about Israel's raid on international humanitarian airship to Gaza. There were 9 EU citizens in it, including 1 member of parliament, and several countries condemned it, and experts say that it's unlawful to stop it in the international waters. So what is the EU's position about it? And the same question for you, sir. And the second, if I may, it's about India-Pakistan conflict. I would say, will the EU take any initiatives about that to resolve the conflict in a peaceful way?
Thank you. Of course, the consular protection for the citizens is up to the member states to provide. When it comes to international law, it has to be followed also in the international waters. But what we discussed today also is that we have to develop the international law further when it comes to maritime issues. Like we have the issue of stopping the shadow fleet, for example. We have the issue of subsea cables. All these things are new threats, new worries, and I think in the global multilateral fora, we need to develop the international maritime law further.
Well, I don't have anything particular to add to the first question, but to the second one, I'd like you to understand, this is not a conflict between 2 states per se. This is actually a response to the threat and to the practice of terrorism. So I would urge you to make it, don't think of it as India-Pakistan, think of it as India-Terroristan. You will then appreciate it.
Thank you. We go for MHK.
My question was to the High Representative. Two questions. Will you be pushing today for India to have a more tougher position towards Russia? And then my second question is, since you were at the Shangri-La dialogue in Mexico, is the tightening cooperation between related to the concerns you have towards China?
Thank you. As mentioned before, we will have those discussions later on. I mean, it is clear also from the discussions that we have right now is that nuclear threats cannot pay off, and this is the mutual concern. We see different actors, in our case, Russia using these nuclear threats, and also we see other actors in the world using this. So we will discuss this further. And then what comes to our India policy, then we have our separate India policy that is related to our bilateral relations. It's not against anybody, but it's really to our benefit to see where are the mutual interests of both sides. And I think in this global changing world, we need more partners than less, and that's why we are working to really intensify our cooperation regarding security and defense, for example.
Can I take the last one over there? Yes.
From Radio Norbretagne, western part of France. Despite the Brexit, and probably due to the pressure of the geopolitical environment, there are more and more relations between the EU and the UK government now. would you be in favor of more connections and also more EU officials or business leaders taking part in the next India Global Forum taking place in London on the 16th and 19th of June this year?
Okay, I'm not particularly conversant with that forum, but certainly, for us, one, of course, we attach considerable importance to our relationship with the UK. We have actually made some big progress there, including finalizing our FTA with the UK. We certainly do see that on many issues with which we engage with the European Union, there are also issues which are relevant to our relationship with the UK. So I think dealing or engaging them both in tandem does make sense to me.
Yes, and for us, we are, of course, we just finished the security and defense partnership that gives us possibilities to cooperate with UK even further. We were also mentioning in our meeting, we have several forums and with India regarding different topics. But of course, we also have different fora with UK and also looking forward to intensify the cooperation, especially on the security and defense field. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This brings in our question time. We have to thank you very much.
Thank you.